I do see myself in a lot of musicals sometimes, and it affects me in a very different way with the music of like feeling
Yeah.
very emotional because of
Yes.
the music or
Yeah.
feeling excited or like wanting to get up and dance. Like I love a good musical, don't get me
Right.
wrong.
We
But I
do
think
not knock
we do
musicals on
not
this channel.
knock musicals here. We love them.
Good evening and welcome to Art After Dark, where you get to learn all about arts and culture in West Texas, and I get to live out my Dick Cavett fantasy. Good evening, my name is Randy Ham. I am the Executive Director for Odessa Arts, and we are here again in the beautiful Globe Theater at Odessa College as part of the Texas Shakespeare Festival Roadshow residency. I am so pleased to welcome to this theater for the first time Sydney Deone Cooper. Sydney, thank you for being here so much.
Of course, thank you for having me.
This is your first visit to the Globe Theater.
Yes.
So, what do you think?
Oh my gosh, I love it so much. I actually got to go to London my junior year of college, right before senior year, and we did a little bit of work on the Globe stage. We saw two
Oh,
shows there,
wow.
and I was really just happy with the way it like enhanced my physicality. I've always had
Mhm.
trouble with my physicality as an actor.
Really?
Yes.
I would never have been able to guess that from the way that you perform and just the way that you walk into the space. I mean, you have this great energy and joy from the minute you walked into the building, and it really made me so happy when I met you
Oh
yesterday.
my gosh, well, thank you so much. That's really good to hear. I just like I think um I've had trouble in the past with like proscenium stages.
Mhm.
You kind of feel like you get comfortable just
Sure.
having the audience right in front of you.
Right?
And I think having it surrounding you a little bit and being able to play different diagonals and with Shakespeare specifically, just getting to um not have to rely on such strict stage directions allows you to kind of have a freedom. So I've really kind of come to love that. And the space really allows for that. So it's been
That
great.
that really paints a beautiful picture because I would watch you during rehearsals yesterday and even this morning, just like working the stage, just by yourself and really making it your own. So that's really great. So how did you find your way to this Texas Shakespeare Festival?
Well, it's actually a really funny story. My sophomore year of college, right before junior year, I was talking with a friend and he had found a whole list of like places that were doing summer stock theaters. And I was like, okay, kind of sifting through. I saw Texas Shakespeare Festival and they had their season put up and I saw they were doing a play called The Hog Princess.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I was like, I have to be the hog. I don't know what the play I don't know what the play is about, but I gotta be the hog. I was like, it feels like it has my name written all over it. And I sent in my audition the day before it was due.
Oh
I kinda just,
wow.
like, waited for the last minute. I didn't really know Shakespeare, so at
Mm-hmm.
one point, I was reading the lines off, like, a computer because I was like,
Yeah.
it's
Sure.
due really
Yeah.
soon, I
Yeah.
gotta get this done." And so I sent it in, I didn't really think anything of it, I was just like, "If it's meant for me, it'll come to me." Um, and then I had missed the email from Megan, the initial email offering it, so she texted me and she was like, "Hi, Sydney, I don't know if you saw my email, but we sent you an offer." And I was like, "What?
Oh
What?"
wow.
So from then on, I got to go that summer and had a really great time just that was the first professional thing I'd ever done. So I had a really great time just like learning from other people. And Texas Shakespeare was just so like nice and they took really good care of me.
Yeah.
And so my senior year of college, when it was time to come out of it, I had seen that a few people I knew were doing the road show. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, I think that would be such a great first project to do coming out of college, just because they had been so nice to me the first time I'd been there. I love the people, and I've always wanted to learn more and more about Shakespeare just as much as I can because I didn't really get as much of it as I wanted when I was in school. Um, so I reached out to Megan again and I asked if there was any room, if she could please consider me. She was like, you know what, I'll let you know. And she let me know, and now I'm
And now you're here.
here.
You've been on the road for about 10 weeks now, right?
hmm
What's it been like, your tour?
Yeah, I wanna say it's been everything I imagined, but it really has not. It's a lot different than I imagined being on the road would be. I'm a person who gets very homesick really easily, but I
Yeah.
haven't experienced that yet. I think it's because we're such a tight-knit group,
Yeah.
and I feel like I'm able to talk to people about, like, my authentic feelings, or if I'm nervous about a show, people are there to kind of ground me before
Yeah,
that. So it's truly been like an exercise and something that I'm not usually really comfortable with, which is just like going from space to space and performing for different audiences and not really knowing what you're gonna get.
right?
So it's felt like a spontaneous sort of last 10 weeks for me, which is great because I usually get really comfortable with, my routine and
Sure.
things like that. So it's been nice to kind of stretch out and just try new things in each space, see different people, hear different reactions. So yeah, it's been fun.
Well, the roadshow has always been such a great group to work with, and I've just witnessed it so many years. I think this is the sixth year we've had them here, but the cast really supporting and lifting each other up, and being there to catch you when you fall and to lift you up and get you back up on your feet, and it's such a nurturing environment.
Yeah.
Uh, but so much of that is through the leadership of Matthew and Megan. I mean,
Mhm.
they are just rock stars.
Yeah.
They really are. I wanna be Megan when I grow up, is really really what I'm trying to say, is that I just wanna be Megan. Um, so what are the other projects that maybe aren't as, concerned with Shakespeare that you've really enjoyed?
Ooh. Well, I got to do a production of Three Sisters
Mhm,
by Chekhov my senior year. That was the last play I did in college. And that was really just like that was another moment where I had to step outside of my comfort zone and
mhm.
really like working with people that I'd never worked with before, working with a director that I loved, but that always pushed me really, really hard to like try new things and to really rely on the source material a lot. I think I always say I get comfortable with things because I once I find my
Right,
routine, I kind of
yeah.
stick with it. But he really pushed me to try a new method of building a character, which was just like really focusing on the book work and
Mhm.
like reading it 1,000 times and just finding people to model in real life. So that was a lot of fun. I've done a couple of devised plays in my life. So
Wow.
there was one called Damascus, AKA Running, and that was a lot of fun because we started with just, like, a sheet of paper that, like, my director, Nadine Mauzan, had written, and she was like, "This is just kinda my idea for the characters. I don't really know who they are yet or, like, what I want them to do." So throughout the entire process, we got to kind of bounce off each other, and there were things that ended up in the script that I had just, like, made up at some point because I thought it'd be
Yeah.
funny. So yeah, I've gotten to do a few fun things in my life.
That's such a diverse experience, because you go from something that, Shakespeare's language has been exactly the same
Mhm,
for over 400 years, and everything that you learn about the characters from the text on the page,
mhm.
and to go to something where you're holistically creating a character in a collaborative environment, that the dialogue might be different on Wednesday than it was on Tuesday.
Exactly.
um, which do you think has been more challenging for you?
Oh gosh. I think devising was a little more challenging for me
Okay.
just because I had to really trust myself when it came to trying something new. And I think with the, Shakespeare and more classical work, I just throw myself into it because I'm like, the words are so strong, and I know
Yeah.
exactly where I'm going, and I know exactly what this relationship is, and even if I do kind of make something up or, like, build something that feels more authentic to me, it's already rooted in something so strong. And with devising, it was like just pulling something from my real life that I thought would be fun, or, she would hand me a monologue that she'd written and it'd kinda be just typed out because she wrote it on the train that day, and I'd be like, "Oh, great, great, great." Or she'd come to me right before the show starts and be like, "Sydney, try this next time you go in." And I think that was a lot more, like, vulnerable to just kind of look at an audience member or know that the audience is watching you as a more authentic version of yourself, so I think that was trickier for me.
Yeah, you really have to think about how much of yourself that you're sharing out
Yes.
there and putting out. I mean, performance in any way, whether it's musical or spoken word, or if it's theater, it's very challenging and scary. I mean,
Mhm.
you're so vulnerable out there on the stage, and you're putting it out there for other people's
Yes.
approval.
Mhm.
So to actually dig into yourself and share more of yourself than you
Mhm.
probably would, it can be incredibly scary. So very brave to be doing some of those things. Um, all right, I asked before, but is it musicals, straight plays?
Ooh. Well, I'm kinda gonna echo that same answer of just, like, I think I appreciate straight plays because they feel very grounded,
Hmm.
and I think sometimes you can get, like, just sucked into somebody else's life when you watch a straight play, like,
Yeah.
there's nothing to distract you from, like, the fact that this is real
Yeah.
or the fact that it's, like, you're in this moment with us, like, there's nothing to, like, pull you away from it or, like, get you to escape, and I think that's something that's really cool about a straight play is you can go in and be like, see yourself in it, whereas with musicals, I do see myself in a lot of musicals sometimes, and it affects me in a very different way with the music of, like, feeling
Yeah.
very emotional because of
Yes.
the music or
Yeah.
feeling excited or, like, wanting to get up and dance, like, I love a good musical, don't get me
Right.
wrong,
We
but I
do
think
not knock
we do
musicals on
not
this channel.
knock musicals here, we love them,
Yes,
and
we
I
do.
think they're I think they're so my mom actually really wants me to be in a musical again at some point,
See?
and I do too, and I'm like, I miss it a lot, but I think it's because they're just so fun, and I
Right.
think what's challenging for me about a straight play is, like, it goes back to that thing about vulnerability of, like,
Mhm.
there's not gonna be a moment where I, like, am just singing, or there's no moment for the audience to kind of clap for you and, like, tell you that they're
Right.
with you the entire time.
Yes.
Like, there's no break, like, at all. It's like, either you can't really, like, look at the audience and be like, "Are you liking
Right.
this? What do
Give
you
me some
think?"
feedback.
That I
Yeah.
would want nothing more than to stop a monologue and be like and just just wait for the
I
applause.
wanna see you do that so bad. I really do.
Just to be like, "Did you like it? Did you
Right.
like it?" And I think
Oh.
that's the trap I fall into with musicals is, like, you sing the song and you know they're gonna clap and you know you're gonna do the dance and you know you're gonna do
Right.
this, and they're so technical, but with the play, it's like, nah, you just gotta be there with your
Yeah.
people and, like, really hope by the end that it landed for them. So
Right. Okay, so if your mom said you need to be in a musical and you want to do another musical, what is the musical that you want to do?
ooh, gosh, I haven't thought about it too much, but I have been listening to Legally Blonde, like,
Uh-huh.
over and over and over again. Like, whenever I wanna just, like, a fun-filled musical, that's the one I come to, and so many places have been doing it lately. So I'd say Legally Blonde, but also I would really love to be in Hamilton at some point.
Oh god.
I think that
Who
would
wouldn't
be
wanna be in Hamilton?
come on, like, I think that would just be a dream come true, and it's the musical that I think, like, brought my parents into the world of theater with
Yeah,
me because my parents have never been theater people, but I was like,
yeah.
"Guys, you'll love
Right.
Hamilton." So I think to satisfy her and satisfy me,
Yeah.
Hamilton.
My friends were so sick of me singing "You'll Be Back" because that's all I wanna do is play King George
Oh,
so
I see
badly.
that.
It would be so much fun,
Oh
right?
my
Yeah.
gosh.
Like, everybody wants to do Hamilton, and the
Mhm.
great thing about Hamilton is there is a role for everybody,
Yes.
right? I mean, down to the bullet,
Yes.
right?
You know what my dream is? This is kinda crazy, but so I think the 10-year anniversary of Hamilton is coming up, like,
Oh
pretty
god,
soon.
I'm so old.
It's
Go on.
isn't it crazy? I want so badly to be Alexander Hamilton and in, like, all-female production of it.
That needs to
I'm
happen.
like, I don't know who to pitch it to. I don't know who to call.
His name is Lin Manuel Miranda.
I'll find him.
Okay?
I'll find
I'm
him.
sure he's in the phone book.
Yeah. I'll just flip through and
Yeah.
find him, but I really that would be a dream come true for me.
That would be a lot of fun. That would be
Mhm.
a lot of fun. Yeah, Hamilton would be if it's 10 years and now that it's been on Disney Plus, there's gotta be a point at which the rights are gonna be released for schools and community theaters, and I think that's really where you're gonna see some innovation happen,
Yes.
and I can't wait for that. I can't
Mhm.
wait to see those kids playing those roles,
Exactly.
because
Mhm.
they've all seen themselves up on stage, and that's
Mhm.
so wonderful.
Yeah.
It really is. Okay, so Hamilton's your musical. What's your straight play? What's the one you want to do?
Oh gosh. Our Town.
Mm,
I got to do it my senior year of high school, and I played the stage manager.
yeah.
But as I got a little bit older, I would love to do the stage manager again, but I've really, like, been curious about Emily's character,
Yeah.
Emily Webb,
Mhm.
just because my college recently did it, and we had a kind of a roundtable discussion before I left about the play, and I think she's so, like, nuanced, and her relationship with George is very nuanced,
Mhm.
and I think there are it's kind of like Shakespeare in a way where there are so many different ways to play these characters and so many different, like, things you can find within it to commentate on, and I would love to just, like, get the script for our town and really just, like, build my Emily from the ground up and see what her journey is and, like, how she comes to this realization that she comes to at the end. So I think it's been on my mind a lot recently because it's on Broadway right now,
Yeah.
and so I've just been, like, really back in my obsession with it. I was obsessed with it for a while in high school, but now I'm, like, fully
You're
back in
you're
it.
manifesting it is what you're
I'm
doing. You're manifesting
manifesting
it.
it.
Yes. Yes,
Exactly.
you are. What has been the most, memorable part of the tour so far?
Oh, wow. Ooh. I think for me, there's been a lot of memorable moments. I think everything's been, like, super fun and engaging just because, like, you're on a tour with 7 of, like, the coolest people in the world. But I had my birthday pretty early on in the
Oh, wow,
tour.
how
It
fun.
was October 4th, and we went bowling, and everybody just made me feel so special the whole day. I've always been very cynical about birthdays because 'cause I'm like, "Oh,
Oh,
another year,
no.
another year." But I was like, "You know what? This birthday, I'm gonna be pretty, like,
Yeah.
happy-go-lucky Sydney." Um, and the morning I woke up, one of my roommates, Alice, got me a little, like, cinnamon roll with a candle in it and a card, and
Oh,
everybody had gotten me a card that day, and I think I mentioned we went bowling, and it was just, like, a solid day, and I think I was just happy to, like, be surrounded by people who made me feel special during it. I've always, like my birthday's always been during the school year, so
right.
this is my first year, like, out of the school system celebrating my birthday, like, being around people who, like, I didn't really know that well yet.
Yeah.
So for them to, like, take time out of their day to, like, really make me feel seen was just oh, it was so special.
That makes me happy. You should always celebrate your birthday. I don't
Yes.
care. It is the one day out of the year where you get to be all about yourself, whether it's with a group of people or whether you just take the day for yourself and do the things that you want to do that maybe you don't have time to do, or maybe you feel a little self-conscious about doing or whatever.
Mhm.
It's really a time to celebrate yourself and your identity. So please continue to celebrate your birthday.
Yes, I definitely will.
All right.
This
Well,
next one will be for you.
all right. I better get an invitation.
Yes,
I will
yes.
bring the cinnamon roll and the candle. Yes. I want to thank you so much, Sydney. We are just kicking off this week. You've got one show under your belt, but we've got a whole week's worth of stuff to do here, and I appreciate the gift of your talent here in West Texas, and I know that all of our students do as well. And thank you for being a part of the show too.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah. Well, thank you all for tuning in and join us next week for another episode of Art After Dark.